digital signal processing DSP. In this case, we have to study about introductory part as a review of discrete time signals and systems, time domain analysis of discrete time signals and systems, frequency domain analysis of discrete time signals and systems. Next, discrete Fourier transform. It is possible only if you know the knowledge about frequency domain sampling and reconstruction of discrete time signals. Next, we have to go with this DFT, how we are going to get that DFT, inverse DFT, and we have to study about DFT as a linear transformation and the relation between DFT with other transformation. What are the properties of DSP? Linear filtering methods based on DFT. Next, frequency analysis of signals using DSP. Next, when it was Slater. DSP was taught as a graduate level course in electrical engineering. Later onwards, it was taught for the undergraduate curriculum. What is the importance? DSP is a basic skill needed by scientists and engineers, so that it was taught as a standard part of the undergraduate curriculum. What are the applications of DSP? DSP is useful in a space, medical, commercial, telephone, military, industrial and scientific applications. What are the related areas along with the DSP? DSP is helpful for the communication theory. That means a common overlapped borders going to be having for the DSP and communication theory. Along with that, numerical analysis, probability and statistics, analog signal processing, decision theory, digital electronics, analog electronics. All these areas have some overlapped borders with the DSP. Some of the examples for the signals: multi-channel and multi-dimensional signal. Here, three components of a ground acceleration measured in a few kilometers from the earthquake occurrence going to be observed here. That was observed in a south direction, east direction and upward direction. Combinedly, all these three signals will give you the resultant vector. That means it is a multi-dimensional, varying in all three dimensions. This is the meaning of multi-channel and multi-dimensional signal. Next one going to be two-dimensional signal. It's not a three-dimensional, it's a two-dimensional. Along with the x-axis, some variable existing, along with the y-axis another variable. These two are the independent variables. Then these are the sum of the points we are going to have on the spatial dimensions. That was a two-dimensional signal. Next, it is a continuous versus valued versus discrete valued signal. Here annual sunspot numbers going to be observed for this 1770 to 1870. Then here types of systems. How many systems we are going to use for processing of these signals? One is a continuous system, the other one discrete system. In continuous system, x of t was a continuous signal passed to the continuous system and we are getting it as output, continuous output. In this discrete system, we are passing discrete signal to the discrete system. After processing, we are going to get discrete signal, majorly classified as continuous system and discrete system. But in real world, we are having only the continuous signals that you have to convert into discrete according to your convenient, which system you are going to utilize, which one is better, which one is giving speed, like that we have to think. Then in detail we have to represent. When you are utilizing analog signal processor, no problem. Input is a analog input, output is going to be analog output. When you are utilizing digital signal processing, we have to convert this analog input into the digital form by using A to D converters. Later onwards, once the signal was processed by this digital signal processor, we have to convert that digital data into once again analog form by using D to A converter. Then how you are going to get that digital data? This is almost a sub part of a communication system. So we already gone through this in a digital communications in generally. XA of T is the continuous signal. To convert that into digital data, we have to have a sampler, quantizer and coder. Sampler means at what instance you are going to get samples. Quantization is nothing but rounding off to the nearest values or predefined values. Then coding. This quantized levels signals are going to be coded into digital data. Digital data. These are the sub blocks embedded in A to D converter. A to D converter. A to D converter is the main block in digital signal processing. What are the advantages of DSP? Some of the advantages are high accuracy, cheaper, flexibility in configuration, easy of data storage and time sharing. High accuracy, how you can say that? That means for the analog signals processing, we need analog circuits. For that analog circuits, whatever the components we are using, those are having tolerances for the design of filters in example, but DSP has superior control of accuracy. There is no such a analog components we are utilizing. Then next one is a cheaper, because analog realization is going to be fixed circuit design. Once it was designed, there is no chance to alter. In this DSP, a part is going to be a programming part. So due to flexibility in configuration, we are going to get it as a cheaper. What is meant by flexibility? Here the DSP is not a complete hardware. It's a part of hardware and a software. So same hardware can be utilized for different applications by simply changing your programming. Next, easy of data storage. The data can be easily stored on a magnetic medium. For the offline processing, we need to transport those data wherever you are going to get at one place, that to be submitted at another place by remotely laboratories. Time sharing. In this case, parallel processing, pipelining, all those techniques can be utilized so that there is a chance, digital data only, not a continuous data, so that there is a chance for multiple tasks can be performed at a time by the time sharing procedure. Next, what are the limitations of a DSP? System complexity. Why means in this case, we are converting analog signal to digital once, digital signal to analog signal another time. So when you are doing A to D, D to A conversions, if the bandwidth of a signal is very large, then you have to design D to A to D converters of a complex ones. Complexity increases. That is the main drawback with the system complexity. Design of A to D to A converters for high frequencies will be somewhat risky process. Next, power consumption. When DSP was started at 1980s, at that time, due to the component size, everything, DSP used for the offline processing only. Offline processing and business applications. Whenever the emerging technologies like large scale integration, medium scale integration, very large scale integration, VLSI are developed, then there is a chance for more components to be kept within a given chip. Then compulsory power consumption increases. Whereas in analog signal processing includes only passive circuit elements like resistor, capacitor, inductors, so they will less power dissipation. But in digital case, more components, more power consumption. These are the limitations. Applications already we discussed: telecommunication, consumer electronics, image processing, instrumentation and control, military applications, speech processing, seismology, medicine. With this we will wind up the introductory part of the DSP.